Yeah, hard-fought game. I felt like we came to play. We had opportunities, I thought, in the first half, really in the second quarter, that if we could have capitalized, we might have went into halftime up 7-8, something like that, and we just couldn't do it. They came back, took the lead at halftime. I thought that was I felt like we were in pretty good control. The last 2 minutes of the second quarter really, kind of swung some momentum. But I thought, halftime, third quarter, we came out ready to play. It was a great game. And, I just love the fight that we showed. Now we got to fight and score some points too. We got to find some opportunities. We're not a team that's going to hurt you from the 3-point line, and we got we got to address that a little bit because Grace is going to face, as you saw, some of the best defenses in the country. We saw that tonight. She's going to be the key to their whole game plan. And again, to hold Iowa, who averages 80 some points a game. We had them in the 50s and fouled a little bit at the end, but to hold them in the 60s, that was our goal. We just got to score 70, but they're a great team. This is been a great since I've been here. We've had these incredible games with Iowa, so I'll miss that. I'm going to miss that competition, and they do things. They play the right way. A lot of respect for them, but we got to translate this into 40 minutes tonight. Thanks.
If there's a game like this at a Grace against the caliber of competition you guys are facing, just showcase her development and how she's progressed into one of the top post players in the conference.
Well, I think to her credit, she works really hard. She's very humble. She's a great teammate, so players love playing with her too. She lives in the gym. She works on her game. She's, Tangela Smith, who ironically was the Big Ten Player of the Year at Iowa, has really worked. I thought done a great job developing Grace into much more fluid in her offense. Her arsenal now is expanded. She can play inside out. And, she's just a much more confident player. I think that's really the biggest thing. And because she's a great teammate, players want to play with her.
Yeah, in that second quarter there where y'all got going, Casey and Caroline hit big threes at the start of that quarter. That kind of forced Iowa to open up the floor for you guys, and Iowa dropped from zone into man. How important are those threes for you guys, or did you think that something else was going on in the second quarter there to kind of open up the floor?
Well, we put them at the foul line at the end of the quarter, and that was, we had opportunities, we had transitions. They made some defensive plays that I thought, hurt us too. We had some good opportunities, didn't finish. So, it's one of those things. We'll see how to finish games and finish quarters and finish. The biggest thing for us is finishing possessions. And but again, to keep them, the halftime score, what they had 30, it was 31-30 or something. It was. So we did our job defensively. It's just we got to find, like you said, you can't go 5 for 21 from three and beat a top 20 team or a top 10 team in this league.
Coach Grace was talking about...
And that was kind of what you were talking about, right? The threes.
Well, yeah, it seemed like, I might be recalling wrong, but they started in zone, and then do you think it was the threes that kind of opened up the floor for you guys? Or
their zone, I thought caught us a little bit standing, and then we did a good job. We did a better job moving, getting the ball inside out and getting the shots we want. But I think defensively, their pressure hurt us a little bit in the half court. We weren't able to run our offense with the precision that we feel like we're capable. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Coach Ava Hayden, Iowa's leading scorer, was in foul trouble and sat out for a lot of the game. How are you guys able to take advantage of her absence in those moments?
Yeah, she's terrific players. Long, long line of post players that they have that have excelled in the Big Ten, and I thought, we were able to, get the ball inside a little bit. The problem was when she came back, she got it inside too. She goes 9 for 11. You can't let that happen. And they're the things that we got to scheme. And when we did get her in foul trouble, take advantage of that.
Sure. Yeah, Coach, talk to me about this defense. Forcing 20 turnovers out of the nation's 14th best teams. What do you think was clicking tonight, and what can you work on going forward?
Well, I wish. I thought our game plan was to get in passing lanes, was to half court to really apply pressure, and I thought we did a great job. I think the problem, when you give up 29 free throws, and forget the last minute or so when you foul, that's what we got to stop doing, and stay aggressive, but keep them off the foul line. But 20 turnovers, you got to turn those into transition layups or buckets at the other end, and that's where we feel like we got room to grow, but we can be really dangerous when we can take that and turn it around and score at the other end.
Coach, obviously came out with a loss, but a lot of positives to take away from this game. Do you think that this game can be a turning point for a team that's lost 9 straight?
To be honest with you, I don't think any of our players or our locker room feel like they've lost. I haven't seen that, so I don't think our record is indicative of who we are. I sat here a couple years ago. We just beaten Caitlin Clark. We beat her 3 times, in great Iowa teams, and I feel the same way as I did then, and that we had an opportunity. Tonight we've had one of the toughest schedules in the Big Ten. We've already played. Washington and Oregon are top 20 teams. Ohio State's top 20 team. I think Ohio State we led, half the game, 3 quarters. So the league is just, you got to be beyond the league in that you got to focus on yourself and rather than the opponent. And I think we're doing a good job of that.
Henry, last question. Yeah, Coach, just kind of a retrospective kind of question for you here. You got Jan Jensen on the other side of the sideline. You had Lisa Blue last year, 2 years ago. I mean, you played Iowa a ton of times, and just I'm kind of wondering, like, how have you seen the game evolve since you started here in Northwestern and to today?
And I appreciate the question. Lisa Bluter, great coach, legendary coach at Iowa. We had battles going back to when she coached Drake, and I beat her and knocked her out of the NCAA tournament, and then she became the Iowa coach 2 weeks later. So, I'm just really big fans of their program from the standpoint of the way they play. And when you go play there, like last year, the game was sold out. We lost at the buzzer again. Like I said, so many great players have come through there. And just like here, I remember Nia Coffey beating Iowa in the Big Ten tournament. I remember Veronica Burton, with these great battles with Caitlin and legendary battles. And we came out on the good side. We showed our team a tape today of Maggie Lyon hitting a shot and Carly Roser hitting a buzzer beater at Iowa at the buzzer. And we stopped at Dairy Queen, got them all blizzards, and that was our defense. And we got to get back to our blizzard defense too, or at least get some coupons for Dairy Queen. But I'm really, like I said, I've had these great games with Iowa. When I got here, Northwestern had not beaten Iowa. I don't think they lost like 30 times, and we had a stretch where we beat them, 5 out of 8. They beat us 4 in a row. We beat them. They had great games. So a lot of respect on both ends. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. So we'll just open up the questions for Grace and Casey. Just raise your hand. Jake?
It goes for either one of you, but you guys forced them into 20 turnovers tonight. What do you sense was working for you guys defensively?
I think since last game we really took it upon ourselves to focus on defense and buy into defense, especially during practice. And I think like our scout team as well in practice, props to them. Like they really prepared us to defend these guys, and I really think again that we bought in, and that's why we were so successful tonight in turning them over. Just a lot of hard work tonight. A lot of hard work in practice too.
Casey, how would you characterize this group's energy and effort tonight?
Yeah, I think we all brought it. We have had a couple of good practices. Obviously, it's been a rough stretch for us, and I think we're all ready to win, and I think we're showing it in practice, and it translated to the game today. We all just want to play really hard, and I think we're starting to do that as a team together.
Okay.
This is for both of you. Obviously, pretty big crowd out there tonight in Welsh-Ryan. I'm curious if you guys if that helped you with the energy.
Yeah, I think we knew ahead of game that Iowa was going to bring a crowd. They always do, but it makes it more fun. It's fun atmosphere to play in, so I think it probably brought some energy for us. We had a great warm-up. We had a lot of energy, so I think that definitely plays a factor.
Other questions? Better.
Yeah, Grace, what are some positive things you can take away from this loss and move on to Rutgers on Sunday?
Yeah, I think just knowing that we are so capable of more than we think, and we are, this is a top 25 team, and we had them scared, and I think that again shows that we are so good, we are better than we think, and we are capable of almost winning and eventually beating these really good teams. So I think that's the positive in itself for sure.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Great game.